Hi everyone, welcome back to Learn English with Erica. We are on day 2 of our series having to do with going to a restaurant. So in the last video, we talked about 10 questions that you might hear when you walk into a restaurant. Today, we're going to be talking about some expressions and phrases that you might use while you're in the restaurant eating your food or ordering your food. These expressions are good for those English language learners that are interested in trying out more of their language, right? So day 1 was more like just so you understand what is being asked of you and maybe some of the answers that you could give. But today is more for if you want to take charge of the conversation and really ask some questions and say some things, practice your English. Today is your day. All right, so first of all, when you enter the restaurant and you're waiting to get seated, okay, you'll walk in, and if they don't greet you, the hostess or someone there, you can say to them, "Table for 2, please," or "Table for 4, please." Okay, so you're not waiting for them to ask how many in your party. You're just letting them know, "Table for 2, please." "Table for 4, please." Or if you have called a different day, like maybe you called yesterday or the day before or earlier that afternoon to make a reservation, you would say, "We have a reservation under the name," whatever your name is. So when you're making a reservation, you can use your first name, your last name. Just remember which name you put it under. So I might say, "We have a reservation for Erica." And then they would look and say, "Oh yes, I see it. It will be a couple of minutes." Okay. Another thing you might want to say, they might not ask you this, so if this is important to you, it's good to know how to say it. You have in some restaurants a booth or a table. So a booth is the longer bench seats, okay? And a table has the separate chairs, okay? You might also see a high top. A high top is one of those high tables with the taller stools or chairs, right? So if you particularly like one of those, like I personally like the booths because they're more comfortable usually, you might say, "Can we have a booth?" or "Can we have a table?" And maybe it's a really nice day outside and you want to sit by the window. You could say, "Could we have a table by the window, please?" Okay, so these are all expressions that you might know how to, or you might want to know how to say when you go into a restaurant at first before you even sit down. So let's fast forward. We'll pretend we're sitting down at the table. Okay, the first thing that you're going to talk about is the drinks that you want, right? So as you sit down, maybe they'll ask you, "What would you like to drink?" If they don't, and they're getting ready to walk away and you want a drink right away, you might say, "Could I have a water, please?" Or "Could we have some waters for the table, please?" Or you might say something like, "I'll have a glass of wine," or "I'll have a Pepsi." Okay, so for drinks, you can just tell the server what you'd like. You might have to wait if it's a hostess that's seating you. It might not be the same person that's going to take your order, so you might have to wait. So then when your server comes over, when you're ordering, hopefully they give you menus on your table already, but if they don't, you can ask, "Could I have a menu, please?" Or "Could I see a menu, please?" So you have time to look at the menu. And let's say you're having a hard time deciding. Okay, so the server comes over and says, "What would you like to order?" You could ask them, "What do you recommend? What do you recommend?" Or if you're decided, you can say, "I'll have the hamburger, please. I'll have the steak, please. I'll have the Alfredo pasta, please." So "I'll have the," and don't forget your "please" at the end. Let's say that you're ordering a salad or something like that. In my case, I don't like onions. So I say, "Can I get the whatever salad but no onions, please. Or could you hold the onions? Could you hold the onions? That means could you not put onions on there? Or maybe you're ordering a hamburger and it comes with French fries. So maybe you don't want French fries. Maybe you're trying to be healthier. You might say, could I have a salad instead of French fries, please? So can I have this instead of this, please? Or maybe, could I have sweet potato fries instead of regular fries? Okay, so you can substitute items. Can I have this instead of this? And if you're not really sure what you want, you could ask, can we have some more time, please, to look at the menu? Or can we have a few minutes, please? All right, so that's ordering. During the meal, let's say you're eating, everything's going well, you might have to ask for a couple of different things. One might be extra napkins, okay? Could we have some extra napkins, please? Could we have some extra napkins, please? Or could we have some more ranch dressing, please? Could we have some more water for everyone, please? Or could I have a refill on my soda? Thank you. If you are all good and everything is delicious and you don't need anything else, you can say, no, everything is great, thank you. Everything is great, thank you. And then after you're done eating, sometimes the server will leave the check on your table. Sometimes they'll be very busy and you might have to let them know that you're finished eating and you're ready to go. So it's not rude here in the United States to just kind of go like this and say, excuse me, could we have our check, please? Could we have our check, please? I know in some countries it's rude to ask for a check before it's actually given to you. In the United States, it's not. The servers understand that people want to spend different amounts of time in the restaurant. Let's say you are with a friend and you're paying for half and your friend is paying for half. You could also ask, can we split the bill? Can we split the bill? That means that you're asking for a check for you and a check for your friend. Okay, so the server should put what you ordered on the one check and what your friend ordered on the other. So can we split the bill? And you also might want to ask, do you accept credit cards? Do you accept credit cards? Because some restaurants don't, most do, but some restaurants don't. On the other hand, maybe you want to pay cash and you want to ask, do you take cash? Do you take cash? Because there are also some restaurants that only deal with credit cards or maybe Apple Pay. Okay, so hopefully those were helpful, and join us back for day 3. We are going to be doing a dialogue, a restaurant dialogue, and we'll see if you can put some of these expressions and answers to work. See you then.